I have 99 billion right now.
What?
Baby Doge. That was, a full day process on trying to figure out how to buy that. It was so fucking annoying.
Yeah, that shit is very annoying.
Dude, I'm fucking super excited right now. Be back on.
Oh, I thought you were like
this feels like Christmas
crypto.
morning right now.
About
what?
About to give me the YouTube crypto sale.
Like an ad?
Yo, I'm super excited for crypto. Let me tell you why. 3 months ago.
Turns into the crypto show.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. It's one of those 3-minute YouTube ads.
Crypto soup. It's actually not a bad name.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. I'm Beau Oliver, joined here today with Teddy, the Nerd Super, and Nash, and we are here on our 3rd anniversary Halloween special video to review Midnight Mass, the new horror series from horror auteur Mike Flanagan, who is
a stud.
He is an absolute stud. I know Ted's a big fan of really everything he's done, and I think I am too. He's become one of the best names in horror. So when he's gearing up to direct a movie or a show, you have to pay attention. He usually doesn't fail. And with this Midnight Mass, this may be his best work over the last 4 or 5 years.
He's very meticulous with his characters too.
Where'd you pull that word out of?
I'm figuring things out over here.
Okay.
I'm in Aaron's seat today.
You're excited.
No, but what people have to get,
Father Ted over
here. I saw a lot of criticism about this show because it wasn't scary. It was kind of like what Blind Manor did, how they duped you with like the teasers and making it seem like the show was gonna be like the Hill House. What Mike Flanagan does is it's a drama horror. He builds his characters. It's not a typical slasher. You're not gonna see people dying and getting chased down the hallways. You know, the horror with his shows and movies is the story.
Right.
And he does a great job like fleshing out his characters and making things eerie. You know, what's so scary about the show was it's all out in the open.
Right.
It's like it's the church. The church is the horror element in the show, and that's like scary to think about.
It's also not the first bad thing that they've done on Crockett Island. They talk about that the church is sold out to companies led by Bev Keane. And we'll get on more. We'll get to her later.
Yeah. Hitler?
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Right, but that's a good point, that he develops the setting and the characters, and he pays attention to them. Like you mentioned, he is very meticulous. So when those moments of horror come, they're more impactful. Right. They're bigger. You feel them more because you are so kind of lost in this world. And what I appreciated about the setting of Crockett Island is that even though they've referenced the mainland and they've referenced modern day things, it feels like a place lost to time. Like Literally. This could be happening at any time. I don't even know if anybody even uses a phone. You rarely see a cell phone. You rarely see technology unless you're with the doctor character.
You know what it reminded me of, weirdly, from Long Island? It reminded me a lot of like a really broken down Fire Island. Like a isolated, very like, the way that they put it in the show, it's just like a very broken down, you know, you gotta love to be there, you know.
Right.
It's very uncomfortable. The show, it keeps you on the edge of your seat, like jump scares. It's not even like something that's scary. It's just, one moment actually just scared me with somebody just waking up. Like, just the way that it was angled.
Well, every time Riley kept waking up. Or seeing the ghost in his bed.
Yeah.
There was only like a handful of jump scares. And for the handful that they had, they were very impactful. They were like set perfectly. But the one comes to mind is when the kids went to the upwards and you saw the eyes of the vampire.
Yeah, and even when they first get to the island and somebody notices a bird flying overhead, you realize that that's the vampire.
Right.
So a lot of the jump scares did come from his presence. You know, they're tackling so many themes like faith, addiction, free will, personal choice, organized religion, environmentalism, but then there's just a fucking vampire in the background. So for people to say that it's not scary, I thought he was a scary-ass presence even when you don't know what it is. But
the
also,
fact that he weaved in a vampire into all this, it's a fucking vampire.
Right.
Like, who sees vampires anymore? Realistically, it's like vampire is like a thing in the past to me.
And then to present him as an angel, because at first I thought, oh, I don't hate this idea either, that angels are these vicious, bloodthirsty creatures who can only lurk around in the night. That's kind of cool.
Trying to get you with your faith, but they latch you in like that, and that's what that's what they made the church seem like they were based on.
And I was going to say, fellas, refrain from calling your girl an angel, because if that's what angels look like, that ain't romantic anymore, dog.
I was waiting for someone.
That ain't it.
Was someone in the show, like when they saw the vampire, like did no one quit? That's what's so messed up about the show is that how the church got this whole town to believe that this thing was an angel. When this vampire came there on Easter night, was no one scared of this thing?
Yeah.
What it looked like? Are you kidding me?
I think that they were just so brainwashed about You know, and that's what also makes this show very uncomfortable as well, that it is a horror. But again, religion is one topic that is you got to walk on eggshells with, you don't really want to talk about. So now you mix in a horror with religion, it kind of just, I just see it that way. They were just so brainwashed by this thing that you see like people drinking the drink. Sorry, spoiler alert, but drinking the drink like it's no problem. They legit just saw somebody fucking die and come back to life, and they're like, "Fuck, I'm doing that." You know, like how brainwashed are you to that? But
I personally can't blame him because Monsignor put on an absolute clinic at church.
And listen to that voice in the back of your head. That voice the world has tried to silence, has tried to teach you to ignore. The voice of our angel telling you.
When Nash mentions that they were all brainwashed, I think it shows what you can use organized religion to do to a broken town when people are so desperate for answers. When he has that sermon in the beginning about how the first apostles were fishermen and that he's going to fill your nets again. So they all want to believe Father Paul. I mean, and we'll talk more about Hamish Linklater as Father Paul or Monsignor Pruitt later, but his performance, he has this energy about him where there's an uncertainty with what he's doing, but he wants you to join him on this journey. He's a comforting presence because of that.
That's the best word
because
for
he's not
comforting.
hiding his insecurities, but he also is very confident. He's able to kind of has this delicate balance of both of those emotions. So he's a great priest.
Yeah,
and he's able to convince people to go on this dark and twisted journey with him.
It's because of how open he was about the church, because he kind of like goes against the church. He goes against the grain here and there, but then just brings it all back to how the church is what we need.
Right, and the whole theme of, I guess the main themes would be resurrection and eternal life.
Right.
So him trying to resurrect this town, resurrect this church, and then give everybody eternal life against their own will. Because at the end of the day, even though his personal reasons are a bit sympathetic, that he wants a second chance with his secret lover and his secret daughter, he is still ripping away the free will from these people. He's doing this against their will. They don't know exactly what they're signing up for.
You know what I love?
The way that they explored that theme through his performance and his character was pretty brilliant. I think it's a performance of the year.
I love the fact that Mike Flanagan incorporated a vampire sucking the blood out of people to giving them life.
Yes,
you know,
right. Turning them into
so,
vampires. They can't go in the day. It was
so ironic.
When you're watching him burn, that it's pretty genius.
Boy,
the title,
cooked.
Midnight Mass.
yeah, he was cooking. Yeah, that is
well, that whole sequence, sorry to interrupt you, of when he first encounters the vampire.
Unearthed by his fear, like the tomb was unearthed by the storm, and the word was angel. Angel.
The way that it's written, the way that he's reciting it, that he found him in these caves, it's like this very religious experience. And the paintings, the depictions of the encounter, was all very
But think about it. You
eerie.
would think, I mean, I don't think Father Paul was looking for the vampire. So he had to have thought that, I stumbled upon this for a reason. So Father Paul may think that he's an angel and that he's saving everyone.
Right.
That's what's fucked up too about it. And the
And
vampire
it's,
is...
Bev by his side, feeding his ego,
Right.
feeding this idea to him.
Because you can tell, but by the end of the show, Father Paul wanted nothing to do with this. So you can tell he kind of has a good heart. He's not that... I don't think he was that bad of a guy. I mean, he's horrible for what he did to everyone, but...
it seemed like an angel to him because, he was old,
Yeah, exactly.
withered and
Right.
everything. And then what happened was this quote-unquote angel saved his life, made him young again, brought back his youth, gave him a second chance. And it's basically an angel. He saved his life. A vampire, I don't know how to compare that. Something really bad is very good for you. I don't know how to put it.
I think you're definitely onto it, where he's presented this choice and he chooses to experience a miracle. Like he talks about being able to walk again or turning water to wine. Those are miracles we're used to, but a second chance, you never see that in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
Where you're brought back to life. You can be a young man again. You can help this town that is still struggling. And like I mentioned, it's like they're caught in this endless loop, but it's the wrong choice because of all the people that he hurts. So when he shows that remorse in the end, we are more sympathetic towards him because it was always there. He always carries that sort of uncertainty. But I think a lot of the show, like with Riley, he makes the choice to be behind the wheel while drinking and he kills a girl. So that was his free will. but he can also make the choice to sacrifice himself to save this town. You know, he's always talking about how he doesn't have purpose. Well, is true purpose being a venture capitalist and, you know, drinking your life away? Or is true purpose this, helping the next generation move on, you know? So it's definitely like, it's dealing with how we use our free will, and that it can be a powerful thing for good or for bad. And Pruitt's the prime example of that.
Those scenes with Pruitt and Riley were amazing.
I believe God can take our work, even our awful works, and turn them into something else.
Because he's really helping him.
Yeah. Was it the second AA meeting, or was it the first one when? No, it was after he got changed, and he really got into it. Like, I killed Joe, and I feel nothing for it. And he kept prying into him, and then they finally got to the fact that, you know, he was jealous that he can't get rid of this girl in his mind, and he sees her every time he falls asleep.
A powerful scene was the meeting with Joe Collie, when he's basically saying, like, this is full of bullshit when he was doing that. Don't lie to me, Riley. Say something to Joe where you can, you know, because he knows that Riley is capable of helping Collie, which, by the way, is my boy, R.I.P. I mean, that
Devastating loss.
Yeah, that's a devastating.
Pike was also a sad loss.
Worst loss
Who?
of the
Pike, his dog.
Oh my
worst
God!
loss of the show.
Yeah, that hurt.
On
Because he was
rewatch,
trying
I
to,
fast forward that scene. I didn't want to see that dog die.
yeah, because that hurt. He was trying to fix himself, and
Right.
you know, just the one scene that he's just sitting there drinking a beer, watching basketball. I was like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I could relate with this guy big time. But yeah, that was a very powerful scene. Very good. You saw the display of how much he really wanted to help Riley. But I got to be quite honest. I don't know if you guys are going to agree with this. I thought Kate Siegel and Zach Gilford were awful in the beginning, acting wise. But I've never seen a performance where they start off very slow and terrible to absolutely amazing acting.
The last 3 episodes is what brought the first 4. Is what made this show so great.
Yeah.
You know, because for me, it did drag here and there. They were a little excessive, their monologues, but it's just like when you step back and think about what they're doing too. You know, if you're not just watching from the show perspective, like they're big monologues they're putting together right now, and they're killing it. But does it drag on a little bit? Maybe, but it all wraps up with the last 3 episodes, and it gives everything meaning.
Yeah, a lot of people have complained about the monologues and the character of Riley Flynn and Aaron Green. They have 2 of the big monologues when they're talking about what happens to you after you die.
A little too much.
Right, for a lot of people, I think they ran a little bit too long. I didn't mind them because I think the music, the atmosphere, everything was just so well put together that by the time we got to these monologues, I was just more interested in learning about these characters who have been set up so well. And for you, they weren't until the end. And I definitely think that by the end, like Riley is the typical, I was struck by tragedy, so now I'm an atheist. And Aaron Green is, I still have my religion, but I'm a teacher. I'm open-minded. So he obviously wanted to give us those 2 perspectives. But where those characters end up, the fact that they both have to make sacrifices, you know, it's not the prototypical happy ending. Riley has this horrific death, but it's capped off by him being embraced by an angel, being brought to heaven, being at peace. You know, it could just be seen as a metaphor, but in that moment, Riley finally found his purpose, which is also his peace.
It was almost like Mike Flanagan was saying that, like, your peace is whatever you want it to be when you pass away, because Riley got what he wanted when he passed away, and Aaron Green got what she wanted when she passed away. You know, there was no... He gave us what we wanted to see happen to them. I guess... Well,
right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm trying to say?
Heaven is peace.
I guess, yeah.
We never said our prayer before this podcast, by the way.
It's like when the doctor says she wants to... she chooses to believe that the kids got away. It's what they choose to believe. It's what Riley chose. Well, in that moment, it's more so he kind of found God. But... I don't think there's a right answer, and I think that's why he presents all of these kind of not conflicting ideas, but ideas that maybe could exist at the same time. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be either or. It can be kind of a combination of both. And this is something that people have, like you said, religion is such a dicey topic to tackle, so you want all these different perspectives. But for the most part, I thought the monologues, he takes a literary approach when he makes his films and his movies. So it's like if you were reading a book, that's how characters express their thoughts, through monologues. It's not as natural in a book. So at times, yeah, it became a novel on screen. And it's been a bit divisive, that aspect.
Just sorry to cut you off, Ted. Just real quick, not to change the subject, but what a pull by Mike Flanagan, huh? To get Kate Siegel? I didn't know that they were married. What a pull!
Wow.
I'm sorry. I mean,
Or what a pull for her.
well, yeah, if you want to go on that aspect, but I mean, if you go on looks wise, I mean that is single A compared to major leagues. I mean that's a big gap. Good for him. Good for him. And he's mad.
What a
It's
life.
all about personality, so that's all it is, right? But there was one subject I actually wanted to bring up quick, that how the blood, when you drink the blood, that you were becoming better as a person, and the one that kind of messed with me a little bit was with Aaron Green and the baby.
Well, I think it points to when Millie at the end tells Father Paul that we were supposed to fade away and our daughter is grown now. That's how life is. That's how it's supposed to be. So that drug, even though it was performing miracles, like Lisa was able to walk again, it was also performing tragedies, like Erin losing her baby, because that's not how, naturally, that wasn't supposed to happen. You know, you're supposed to move forward. You're supposed to move forward. And everything in this show is about resurrecting or eternal life. Things will stay the same. Everything is staying the same. And that's kind of why everything is so fucked up, because things aren't changing.
It all comes with a price.
Right, and in the end, they just say, hey, let's just fucking set it all on fire and start anew, right? And the way that the mainland is talked about, it's like it's not even a real place, or like that actually is.
Like it's forbidden to go there.
Right. And at the end of the day, they give their lives to save to save the mainland, people that they've never met, people that they don't know. And same thing with Riley. Like Riley, at the end of the day, he's given a choice between his immortality or sacrificing himself to get that point across. Because if Riley doesn't make that sacrifice, then maybe everyone ends up a fucking vampire. He's the one who really gets the ball rolling.
Dude, the whole goal wasn't just for the island. This vampire wanted to get everybody.
Yeah, no, he was ready to turn the whole world into Twilight.
Literally. So,
oh man, I would turn into Robert Pattinson so fast, bro. Me, Bobby Pats, bite me, bro. I'm down.
Do vampires only bite sexy people, or do you become sexy as a vampire?
I think you become sexy.
You get the good skin.
Yeah,
you know,
good pale skin.
That baffles me. How do you get good skin when you're like you can't go in the sun or anything? Like,
the vampires in Twilight, like their skin just turns into diamond when they're in the sun. They become even sexier,
dude. You know, that's one scene that fucking was kind of fucked up to watch. Was when Riley combusted into flames. That was
that was horrific. There were some horrific scenes in the show. Like, I got a bone to pick too, by the way, with the vampire. Badass, very cool looking. You know, the wings are fucking diesel. You know, but what's up with him just being so caught up in his meals that he's just getting shot? He's like, get out of here. Stop it.
He's brushing off the waiter.
Yeah.
Everything good, sir? Yeah, fine.
Aaron was literally cutting through his skin.
Yeah, and he didn't know. And, you know, he got so caught up in that she just grabbed his head and was like, no, come back here, boy. You ain't done. And he's like,
that's not good, man.
Yeah.
That's that negative blood. That's hard to find, man. It's rare.
Yeah, that was the only bone. And when he was sprinting on the beach, like with the jacket on and everything in the beginning.
Yeah, why does he have a jacket on?
Like, yeah, and he had a top hat on. I
thought that was Monsignor Pruitt the whole time. That's pissed me off. I fucking fell for it.
Yeah, that was a great reveal when they reveal that he's the younger Monsignor Pruitt.
Yeah.
I was, oh shit.
Yeah,
I feel like
going on here?
Because, you know, it was so obvious that they tried tricking you.
Right.
And in the end, it was so obvious. It's like,
but it was a solid mystery and a combination of the supernatural and science. That's something that I'm always asking for in horror movies. Let's fix this problem with science. We have this 1,000-year-old creature whose blood turns you younger, basically reverses your cells, but we can explain that scientifically. The unexplainable and the very explainable. I like when those two mesh well.
Just
and he did a
Flanagan
good job of balancing all that. Say that again?
I think we just have Flanagan have his hand in everything that gets made. Is that possible?
Like even comedies too?
Anything.
No, he's somebody that's built
Flanagan.
up such goodwill with me, dude. I think all of horror fans, you just can't wait to see what he's going to do next.
You want to know who built up a goodwill with me? It was Hamish.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch anything. If I see he's a part of something, I'm watching it. He was captivating. I really couldn't believe how good he was.
Slick loved him, man. Slick was a big fan.
Really?
That in the darkness, in the worst of it, in the absence of light and hope, we sing.
His voice. It was something about his voice. It was so
incredible.
soothing and so believable. It's like you see why this town would just follow him. But it's the complete opposite though of Bev. She is the biggest bitch in the town, and it's like everyone knows it, but everyone still listens to her too. I couldn't wrap my head around it.
He's George Steinbrenner.
Yeah.
She's George Steinbrenner.
She really was.
Yeah. She wanted to win no matter what. Get this fucking vampire. Terrible people. Let's just go for it. You know, we're getting a ring.
Well, she's the villain of the show, right?
The man who acts presumptuously by not obeying the priest who stands to minister there before the Lord your God, that man shall die.
Yeah, but was there... yeah, she was a villain.
If you can paint anybody as a villain, because I think the Father Paul is a complex character and he's doing villainous things,
right.
But she's encouraging it. She's the opportunist. She sees a moment where she can seep in, influence this guy, take power, and she's already basically wrung the city out for everything that she could. She's run the city dry already. Mm-hmm. So it's like one last hurrah for her. It's like the fucking Jordan Last Dance. How much
you think she knows what's going on, though? Or do you think she believes in her heart that it's an angel, too?
No, I think she believes, like Annie says to her at the end, that you're just pissed that God loves everybody. It's just not about you.
Right.
Yeah.
No, she's an ultimate narcissist. And she uses... like I mentioned, that they show the many ways that religion can be perverted by individuals. When Father Paul says at the end, it's not about me, it's about God. Bev is like, what are you, ridiculous? You know, of course it's about me.
Yeah.
It's all about me. And then how fitting at the end that she digs her own grave before she's fucking burned.
She was down bad.
Right. Yeah, the definition of being down bad. No, like just supreme narcissist, dude. So that's why I see her as the villain, because she's the one... She has the power to stop all this. Like you said, the city hangs on everything she does, and she just doubles down on it. So that's why she's the worst character in television history.
Yeah, and that's why she's such a great actress.
Oh, so good.
She was probably the
Samantha Sloyan.
Who was the standout, though? Was it Hamish or was it Samantha?
I would say Samantha.
Like I said, it's the best performance I've seen this year, but these two together were incredible.
Sheriff was a standout,
Raul,
too.
he was good.
Raul Kali was such a great sheriff character.
Just not to backtrack, but I am going to backtrack, so whatever. To go back on the scientific and religion thing, he does such a excellent job at showing the different levels of it too.
Yes.
The extremist like Bev, then you got Pruitt, who is very passionate but is also understanding.
He's level-headed.
Yeah. Then you got Wade and Dolly that are kind of, this is a miracle that our daughter can walk, and now they're just sucked in. Then you see Ali and you see Sheriff, they have their own different views. I actually liked how there was the different perspectives of how people could see religion and the levels of it, and I thought that he just painted that picture great.
Yeah, no, it's definitely multi-layered when it comes to these topics. It's not just one argument versus another argument. It's people just like, that's why I like the scenes between Erin and Riley so much, because I think those two characters represent that the most, the multiple layers and the discussions and the debates that we can have surrounding these topics.
I can't believe how selfish Wade and Dolly were. When Bev says, "Go ahead, turn him in," and now your daughter can't walk anymore, and they all just how selfish people could be.
Well, that's what happens, man, when people are desperate. They talked about all the money that they've spent trying to cure their daughter, and then all of a sudden they have a miracle, and they don't even want to take her to the mainland to study it. They're like, we can't mess with the miracle.
Yeah.
So
yeah, when you're desperate, you'll believe anything. So
Hassan being kind of separate from all the supernatural happenings was a great choice as well, because his horror experience is being pressured by all these people to give up his identity, his religious identity. He saw this as an escape, and he escapes to a town that's ready to become just a cult of Christianity.
Yeah, he couldn't get away from it.
Even Sheriff Hassan's whole monologue on why he came to the island was so powerful. Like, you felt the pain he went through when the towers went down and how much shit he was getting and why he joined the force, and he came here to get away.
Right, and Erin and Riley had left the town desperate to get away, and then they end up coming back to the place that they were so desperate to leave. And that's where the sheriff finds himself with his son, and his son being a bit more open to the idea of going to the church, being with his friends. It's easy to get people into your ideals.
Sucked into the miracles, man. What the church does to people.
Well, he had nothing, like he was like Sheriff said that he was bored to tears. So he needed something in his life to fulfill him to, and all of his friends were doing it. And to have a grim outlook on all of this is at the end that Ali and Sheriff are on the beach together.
Oh, so sad.
Yeah. And yes, very powerful sad scene, but it doesn't matter what we believe. We're all just going to die. I mean,
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Good way to put it.
You know, and it just shows from the perspective of just two family members came to this island. One family member wanted to make his own choices. The other one makes their other choice, and it doesn't matter. We're just going to die.
Right.
You
and
know?
it is heartbreaking that, in a way, he wasn't able to save his son, but his son does help save everybody else.
Right.
And it was a powerful image to see the three people standing against Bev, were the doctor, the Muslim sheriff, and the school teacher, who is religious but more open-minded. But yeah, his character, like I mentioned, all the subtle racisms, the nicknames that they were giving him, the way that it was this kind of claustrophobic presence that he wasn't looking for whatsoever. So him adjusting to that, and then having to adjust to, like everyone else, just the supernatural happenings that were on the island. And also just want to comment about his performance. These sheriff characters, he had such a great quality of being empathetic to those he was serving, but still maintaining his masculinity. You were convinced that this is a guy that knew how to do the job, that he was competent, that he was capable,
Exactly.
without being a dick. And I think that's also refreshing to see in a sheriff character. You know, they don't all have to be miserable. They don't have to all wear their misery on their sleeves all the time.
What was so refreshing for the sheriff character was that he wasn't a part of it,
Yes.
and that he was an unbiased opinion on all of this. He didn't stand any part. Well, he did stand apart with I guess the good side, if we can call it that.
It's amazing, too, just real quick, that he can arrest Joe Collie every night and then wake him up with a cup of coffee and sit there and talk with him. And it's like, oh, Joe, we're going to do this again. You know, like, that's a great point that you bring up, that it's almost like a really good teacher. Like, a really good teacher knows how to teach, but, like, you know, have a good time, talk to you, and then when you have to work, you have to work.
Yes.
You know, and he just does an excellent job of that. I mean, I think he was a top 3 star in this show.
Definitely. And, you know, him being an outsider helped him not fall for all the, you know, extremism that's going on with the town. Right. And, you know, it's also like, it's his right to study the religion he wants to study without having to feel these outside pressures. So I think any parent, or a lot of parents in these days, would resist their child being given religious texts in school. And it just so happens that, you know, the religion that they're trying to ingratiate with these children, or the religion that they're trying to push on his child, is, you know, has a vampire at the end of the tunnel. So it's not only
I was just gonna say that the outsider who won't commit to the Catholic Church actually is helping saving everyone.
Right. And it's like in their own minds, it's like, oh, that's what they're trying to do with my kid. You know, they're trying to turn him to an evil Christian. And then it turns out
They are evil.
No, that's exactly what they're trying to do.
No, not an evil Christian. You're going to be a fucking vampire. Even worse.
Yeah, you're going to just be the worst. You're going to be a subhuman creature.
I guess the vampire did die, unless it's Pruitt that died, but Lisa lost her legs again. So is that the vampire's doing, or is that Pruitt's doing?
No, that was because she stopped drinking the blood.
Or maybe that's the moment that it died, and now everybody's thing is gone, you know?
I'm going to go with mine, because I want to think that I'm right.
Sure.
All right, guys, that is Midnight Mass Review. Thank you for joining me, Teddy and Nash.
Thanks for having me.
Another Halloween in the books. Hope to join you guys back next year.
Another gem from Netflix.
They're on fire.
Mike Flanagan's on fire.
Yeah, with a pull like that. I can't believe what a bag.
The crock pot's on fire.
Bro, he's got to be super smooth. I got to talk to him about pickup lines, too.
Can you get over the bag?
Damn, we were making some good points in that video. Hey guys, Iron and Nerd Suit Monkey here. Before we end this video, I want to give a quick shout out to our Patreon supporters. What can I say about you guys that I haven't already said about myself? You are the most important part of the channel and the main reason we keep going strong. Like Beau says, you keep the lights on in the fridge so the fridge is full. Or something like that. So, from everyone here at Nerd Soup, I'd like to thank you guys for your continued support. If you're interested in joining the ranks of our patron supporters, head over to patreon.com/nerdsoup and check out the rewards we offer to our patrons. We recently dropped some new stickers for you guys to check out, or you could choose a tier that will allow you to select a movie, show, or video game for us to review. We've got a full slate of fan-suggested reviews coming your way, and we're really excited about the chance to review some of those movies and shows. We've also got t-shirts, mugs, behind-the-scenes videos showing how we bring our videos to life. And once again, thank you to all our Patreon pledgers who have been supporting us throughout the years. Without you, we wouldn't be able to convert all your pledges into cryptocurrency, so thank you from my future self for making us rich.